False argument. Christians worship on the first day of the week. The claim that Christians worship collectively on the first day of the week as a replacement for the Sabbath is a human tradition, not a biblical command. Let us challenge this assumption with irrefutable scriptural evidence and pose questions skeptics cannot ignore. 1. Did Jesus or his apostles change the Sabbath? No. Jesus explicitly stated, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy but to fulfill." Matthew 5:17. Jesus never abolished the Sabbath or replaced it with Sunday worship. Instead, he honored the Sabbath, Luke 4:16, and declared, "The Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. Therefore the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath." Mark 2:27-28. If Jesus is Lord of the Sabbath, why would Christians abandon the day he is Lord over? 2. Was the Sabbath only for the Jews? Absolutely not. The Sabbath predates Israel and was instituted at creation. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day. Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it. Genesis chapter 2:2-3. There was no Jew or Gentile at creation. God established the Sabbath for all humanity. 3. Did Paul teach Sunday worship? The skeptic cites Acts 20:7, but a careful reading reveals no command to replace the Sabbath with Sunday worship. Paul was breaking bread in the evening after sunset, which was technically Monday in Jewish reckoning, and about to depart on a journey. If this verse was meant to establish Sunday worship, why did Paul still observe the Sabbath? And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the Scriptures. Acts 17:2. Paul never taught Sabbath abolition. In fact, he continued observing it even among Gentiles, and he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and persuaded both Jews and Greeks. Acts 18:4. If the Sabbath was abolished, why was Paul still keeping it? 4. Does the Lord's Day in Revelation 1:10 mean Sunday? Nowhere in the Bible is the phrase Lord's Day equated with Sunday. However, Jesus himself declared which day is his. For the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day. Matthew 12:8. The Lord's Day in Revelation 1:10 logically refers to the Sabbath, the day Jesus declared he is Lord over. 5. Does Colossians 2:16-17 abolish the Sabbath? Colossians 2:16-17 is often misinterpreted. This passage addresses ceremonial Sabbaths tied to temple rituals, not the moral law of the 10 Commandments. The Sabbath of the 4th commandment existed from creation and is distinct from temporary feast day Sabbaths instituted for Israel. Paul clarifies that these ceremonial laws were shadows pointing to Christ's sacrifice, not that God's eternal Sabbath command was abolished. 6. Are we no longer under the law? The claim that believers are not bound by the law contradicts Christ's words, "If ye love me, keep my commandments." John 14:15. Paul affirms, "Do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid. Yea, we establish the law." Romans 3:31. If faith establishes the law, how can the Sabbath be discarded? 7. Did early Christians keep the Sabbath? Yes. Even after Jesus' resurrection, believers continued Sabbath observance. And they returned, and prepared spices and ointments, and rested the Sabbath day according to the commandment. Luke chapter 23:56. This was after Christ's crucifixion, proving the Sabbath was still valid. Conclusion. Who changed the Sabbath? The shift from Sabbath to Sunday worship did not originate from Christ or his apostles, but was later enforced by the Roman Church. The Catholic Church even admits this. Sunday is our mark of authority. The Church is above the Bible, and this transference of Sabbath observance is proof of that fact. Catholic Record, September 1st, 1923. If Scripture never commanded the Sabbath change, why follow man-made tradition over God's law? A final challenge to skeptics. Where does the Bible explicitly command the Sabbath's abolition and Sunday worship? If Jesus is Lord of the Sabbath, Mark 2:28, why would he remove his own authority over it? If the Sabbath was for the Jews alone, why was it instituted at creation before the Jewish nation existed? Why did Paul continue observing and teaching on the Sabbath if it was no longer required? Acts 17:2-18:4. Until skeptics can provide clear scriptural answers, the commandment stands. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. Exodus 28. Let God be true, and every man a liar. Romans 3:4.